I found the Skyan scouts. They won't be reporting anything back. There were only a few of them, but they'll likely send out more next time.
We'll deal with that when the time comes. I'd say we're off to a good start. A job well done, Jax.
About the military forces of the other factions. The Berserker fort now has a better military structure than when it was under outlaw control.
Quite. The plan to unite the outlaw and Berserker factions in the fort seems to have been successful.
Patriarch Victor seems to be the actual head of the Morcons. He's a volatile one. We'll have to watch out for him.
Good to know. But if we're being honest, that probably applies to all Morcons.
The Albs have an enormous supply of Elex stored in their depot. That's where they get their power.
Well, that explains why Ignadon is suddenly covered in a blanket of snow.
Alexander Ekrom does a good job of leading the Albs. He's smart, and gives them tremendous stability. For now, at least.
Yes. Intellect was never the Albs' biggest problem. But they have plenty of other things to contend with.
The Outlaws have settled in the garbage-filled crater of the comet. There still aren't many of them, but things won't stay that way for long.
Smart move. Stay in the background for the time being, gather strength. Doesn't help us much at the moment, though.
The Duke of Ateris could be dangerous. He's nothing but a criminal. A very successful one.
Better keep an eye on him, then. We can't afford any surprises.
The clerics are only just getting back on their feet. Not much help at the moment.
And we mustn't forget that they were driven out of their land. It will take some time for those wounds to heal.
Judicator Reinhold has his hands full getting the clerics back into shape.
Ah, a familiar name. Well, at least we know who we're dealing with when the time comes.
Isn't that enough?
Yes. We have enough information about the other factions now. Good work. Give me some time to analyze everything, and we'll be able to move on to the next step. We've completed the first stage of our long journey. The sixth power has taken its first steps, but now the real work begins. I'm impressed, Jax. I knew you could do this, but I'm still surprised by how efficient you've been.
That's the reason the hybrid, always sent me on the toughest missions, isn't it?
Indeed. And even after all these years, you haven't lost any of your skills. Just as well, we're really going to need them.
We've still got a long way to go. So many difficult situations. And demanding people. They all seem to want to determine my fate. And my family's. But I've got decent weapons again. And I'm ready to face the next obstacle. The sixth power is now in action. And soon we'll be a serious contender in the battle for Magalon. And I'm part of it. Whether I want to be or not. Not much is certain yet. The coming days will reveal more about my special role in the war against the invaders. Meanwhile, the Skyans will be expanding the regions covered in their alien flora. Before long, we'll be in a world we don't recognize, full of creatures that'll change or destroy us. My infection. The Dark Elex is starting to take over. I'm already feeling the first effects of the disease. I need to get some healing soon. Or I won't get the chance to fight my first real battles.
We need to talk about that infection of yours. I've made some startling discoveries about the Dark Elex. And I'm certain now that, left untreated, the infection will eventually transform you into a Skyanid creature.
That doesn't really help.
Well, it could pump you full of painkillers, but I don't think that's a good idea. One moment of inattention and the infection could overwhelm you. Better not take that risk.
Great.
I've developed a method of extracting specific DNA fragments from infected subjects. So I'm going to need as many different subjects as possible to continue with my research. That's where we should concentrate our efforts next.
What about me? I'm infected. Will my DNA fragments help?
I need samples from subjects that have already mutated. But they can't be from just any Skyanid. I'm going to need exceptionally thermoactive specimens. You'll have to hunt them down and use the method I've devised to extract those DNA fragments from them.
Any activity on the Skyan invasion front?
Things are still relatively quiet. They must be preparing for a major assault. But I'm more concerned about the Morkons at the moment.
Fuck, I'd almost forgotten about them.
They're unpredictable and represent a huge risk in our war against the Skyans. Especially Patriarch Victor. You should speak to him. Try to reach some form of agreement. Nothing would be worse than him attacking us when we least expect it.
So what else have you got for me?
I've received reports from our neighbors to the northwest. It seems the clerics have lost control of some of their own troops. Their headquarters are about to be attacked by a group of malfunctioning robots. You should stop them before they reduce the cleric castle to a pile of rubble. You should talk to Thialk about our defenses. There's still a long way to go before we're properly prepared.
DNA fragments from thermoactive Skyanids. Am I supposed to know what any of that means?
Yes, I know it sounds complicated. But it's really rather simple. It's all about the cell's DNA replication. How actively and stably the cells of the infected subjects transform. The best data I can use is from subjects whose transformation was particularly quick and effective. When it comes to researching Dark Elex, that could save me a lot of time, and we have precious little to spare. Even things like pieces of skin, scales, or excrement might be enough if they come from highly thermoactive specimens. I've added the relevant data to your adjutor. It will show you promising areas for the DNA fragments I need. Focus your search there.
What if I can't come to an agreement with Patriarch Victor?
Well, just do everything you can to make sure it doesn't come to that.
I wonder if Kaya has calmed down yet. The Dark Elex is giving us enough of a headache. Kaya might be able to help. I should go see her.
Come back when you've collected your first DNA fragments. The sooner I can work